what's up? That was amazing. That was like a chorus. I just want to do that again. Hey guys. Oh, that was less exciting. Okay. What's
First
up?
take's always the best.
First take's always the best.
So how is it getting back into this character after you've been away from it for a little while?
It was an interesting process. I started archivally. You know, I rewatched seasons 1, 2, most of 4. I went back to my notes. I went back to old scripts and everything I'd written on them. And then I realized that it's 7 years later, and things change a lot in 7 years in a person's life. And when we left SARA, she was neither a wife nor a mother, and she has been both of those things for every minute of the 7 years since we've seen her. So at a certain point, I wanted to really let her change and make sure that she was a different woman. Because she has to be, and I am. I'm a different person than I was 7 years ago. Hopefully, I'm a better actor, and so, you know, hopefully I can improve on things a little bit.
So can you talk about where SARA is? Because the last we saw her, she had lost Michael and she had a baby. So where's she at when this series opens?
Well, I think that the short version of the last 7 years of her life is that she went down a very, very dark hole of grieving. And I think it's probably a hole she wouldn't have come out of except that she had a son. And I think at a certain point she realized that her grief was a luxury her son could not afford. So she pulled herself together and decided to raise the shit out of him, and decided that her devotion to her dead husband would be manifested by the love she poured into their son. And part of that included trying to give him a stable home, so she's remarried. And I think the way remarriages after a death of a spouse often happen, it's not, it's not like this is the love of her life. This is a man who's willing to take what she has left to give. And it's comfortable and friendly, and he's a wonderful guy. And everything's okay. And then, because it's Prison Break, then it isn't.
How did you react when you first heard that the next Prison Break will be happening?
I didn't believe it. I think actually very similarly to SARA being told that Michael was alive, I thought it was impossible. And then once I was finally, it took about a month or two to convince me that it was serious. I think at that point, actually, there was a lot of emotion that came up because this project has been, we all owe a tremendous amount to it. Nobody knew who any of us were until Prison Break, and then we did. And so it was emotional to think about going back into that world.
So you went from zombies to aliens and now going back to here, no?
Yeah.
So what was the most exciting part about go back to this character that, like you say, was means so much for you?
There's a simplicity to SARA's moral universe that I've always really respected and I love. There are things that move her towards what she believes is right, and then there's everything else that doesn't matter. And this is, I think all of the characters actually in this, well, for Lincoln, for Michael, and for SARA, the moral universe is a simple one. It doesn't matter how hard something is, it doesn't matter what it costs you. What matters is it the right thing to do? And that's beautiful to play. It's so simple. I love it. I really do. I love it. And, because Laurie Grimes' universe is so morally complex and there are so many shades of gray, because the universe in which she lives is an insane, complicated moral universe. And the same thing for Katie. It's difficult. The colony world is a world where there's so much deceit and lies because of the oppressive nature of the government. It's really great to just keep it back to simple,
So this is a one-time thing, or Prison Break is back?
I don't know. This was pitched to me as 9 episodes, drop the mic, walk away. This is what we're doing. There are always rumors about other things. I'm treating this as the last go-around. But then again, I've said that before. You know, I'm not in charge of that. I'm not in charge of that. So if you hear anything, let me know.
What's the dynamic like between Sarah and Lincoln now that these 7 years have passed?
You know, Sarah and Lincoln were kind of all each other had, I think, for years, you know, and especially for the years that we were still kind of on the run, living in Panama, living off the radar. You know, I imagine that for years he was really the one that helped her with her son, and yet I think eventually he went off on his own, and you know, Lincoln seems to be allergic to happiness sometimes, and so he found a way of getting himself back into trouble. But I think there's a lot of love and a lot of trust between the two of them, partly because there aren't that many people alive who know the story. It's kind of just the two of them.
How much has the show kind of stayed with you over the years in terms of social media, people wanting to?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, of people that stop me on the street, 1 out of every 2 is talking about Prison Break, and 1 out of every 2 is talking about Walking Dead or another project. I mean, it's the durability of the show has really surprised me. I get a lot of people who tell me they just watched it, and that's the amazing thing about our crazy digital age right now. Is a show that's been off the air for 7 years is still a current show, thanks to Netflix and Blu-rays and DVDs and things like that. So it's never been far from my consciousness and my experience because people are always talking to me about it. And like I said, you know, I have such a huge amount of gratitude to the show because Frank Darabont saw Prison Break and liked me in Prison Break, so he brought me in for Walking Dead. And Carlton Cuse saw Walking Dead and brought me in for you know what I mean? Like everything stemmed from that. And so I guess it's always kind of a part of my consciousness. Are we good? No? Anything
Okay,
else?
so over the years, Prison Break evolved to a cult show. That's basically what you just said. So does this add to the pressure that you feel, you know?
Does it what?
Adds to the pressure, you know, you feel coming back.
You know, it's amazing. I mean, and the Prison Break fans have given us so much of their loyalty and their love and their devotion that I definitely come out of that wanting to make sure that whatever we create for them for another season deserves that affection. And, you know, we're working hard on that. I think we've done it. I hope so. Like, I wouldn't be here if I didn't think so. So.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, y'all.